Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. So every week I do blog posts. So if you jump over to stampingwithmelva.com, you'll find my blog posts and the cards and the instructions that I share, as well as links to some of these videos that I've shared, whether it's live or whether I've shared a video. So tonight it's technique night. So every other Thursday I jump on with technique. Now, some of you may have seen me do this technique during my virtual launch, but not everybody. And I just love this technique, so I thought I had to do it again. So I'm using the Watercolor World stamp set, which is one of my favorite stamp sets from the mini catalog. It's a background stamp with the globe on it, kind of flattened out. And the technique I'm using, I just want to show you gilded leafing. So I know this may be not everybody's cup of tea, but I absolutely love this gilded leafing. And my favorite technique with it is, and I realized, hey, Darlene, I realized I forgot my heat and stick powder, so I'm going to have to grab my heat and stick powder in just a second. But I just love using this, and hopefully I'll give you some tips so that you maybe won't be so afraid of trying it, because I think that people see this and think, oh my gosh, it's so messy. But the cards are beautiful. At least I think the cards are beautiful. All right, I'm going to switch over. So first of all, this is the card that I made during the virtual launch, the live. A baby card. So this, you can see I have the world watercolor world stamp, is stamped on here in Versamark. I'm not sure what that word is, maybe lessons. Oh, good tips. Okay. So I stamped in Versamark, sprinkled with heat and stick powder, and then I'll show you how I get it rubbed off. And I've also used the alphabet a la mode dies. So this is a baby card. Hey, Lynette. Hey, Jennifer. So welcome, baby. This is welcome, as I think is from the warm welcome stamp set. And then a little bit of ribbon and some embellishments on this card. Don't even know if I did the inside. And tonight I don't even think I grabbed some basic white for the inside, but I didn't grab anything to decorate it with. So we'll fix that. So I want to show you how to make, I'm going to make it a welcome card, not a baby card, because I need a welcome card. So let me just grab my heat and stick powder and then we can get started. All right. So Watercolor World, like I said, this is one of my favorite stamps. I love background stamps. So this is actually 85%. So it looks quite small. It fits pretty much. In fact, it overlaps a little bit on a piece of 4" by 5 1/4 cardstock. And then going with this is one of my other favorites from this mini catalog. These are the alphabet a la mode dies. They are about a 1/2 inch wide, except for some of these characters, I guess, that we don't use so much. At least I don't use so much, but in other languages they're used. But they're about a 1/2 inch wide. And I think they're about 1.5 inches or so tall. So kind of tall and skinny. Yeah, 1.5 inches tall. And I love them because there are letters and numbers and also punctuation. Somewhere, I thought there was a hashtag somewhere. It might be, yeah, it must be here somewhere. Anyway, there's definitely letters and numbers. So they're kind of fun. I always use the foam adhesive sheets for when I'm using these. Okay, so let's bring in what I've got. I'm going to use Orchid Oasis. So I've got a piece of Orchid Oasis paper that is 5.5 by 8.5, and we'll score it at 4 1/4. And as always, fold into the raised line or the mountain and give it a good burnish. Okay, so that's our card base. So I have got, when I use these background stamps, I always use my Stamparatus just because I find it much easier to get a good, I can't hang on, never mind if I didn't have a wrist problem. I can't hang on to the biggest block. And so I find that I can get a much better stamped image if I use my Stamparatus. So the other thing I like is you can buy this. This is the grid paper, and this fits into the Stamparatus. So it's just small enough to fit and cut the right size. And so I take my piece of cardstock and I lay it where I want it to, kind of in the middle, so that I can put my stamp on it. And I mark it. So if you're going to repeat this, you want to mark where you want to put this. So if you want to make more than one and then have your stamp in the right position. So I've just taken a pencil, marked, put my paper. I tend to use the grid lines, and then just marked where I want it. And so you might be able to see some of the lines that I have on here. Okay, so once I've got it into position, let's get one of the magnets. So these magnets stick together if you get them too close together. So make sure you keep them apart. They will shatter if you get them too close together. Ask me how I know. All right, so then I take my stamp and I position it. Now, I find it a little hard to get these continents going in the right direction, but roughly get them in the direction they need to go. So then you get it positioned. Move your magnet if you need to. And I'm going to probably cut off part of Alaska and maybe part of New Zealand. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just going to take, this is a, I know people call it a Chucky. I've just made it out of a bottle, a glass jar I bought at the dollar store, and I put on one of these felt pads you put underneath furniture. And I just find that I can get good kind of pressure on my stamp to get it in place. And I will also use it. I'm going to use Versamark. So after I've inked up my stamp with Versamark, so when you're using, I'll talk about heat and stick powder in just a minute, but when you're using heat and stick powder, you want to use Versamark. Okay, so again, I'm going to use my bottle, and I'm going to press down. I can press down hard with the palm of my hand with the bottle, kind of going all over it. And then you can lift it up, and with the magnet on it, you won't move your paper. That's one of the cool tips with this. Okay, so you can see now I've got Versamark on. So heat and stick powder is kind of like an embossing powder, except that what it does is gives you something that will allow, if you were using glitter, and most of us, I don't know, some of us may use glitter. I don't use glitter anymore, but it gives something, gives glitter something to stick to. This also gives, gives the heat, the gilded leafing something to stick to. Now, I think I have got a little bit extra here that I'm just going to take and just rub off. Okay, so we've got our heat and stick powder on here. Now I'm just going to try and get this heat and stick powder. I should have used my embossing tray, but this is one of the few. When I use embossing powder, I always put it into a big container, because I told you I'm kind of messy with embossing powder. I'm kind of as messy with heat and stick powder too. There we go. So definitely, if you've got your embossing tray, use it. Okay, so now you need to take your heat tool. Now, this heat and stick powder will heat faster than embossing powder. I'm trying to get underneath with my tweezers, something to hang on to. So it'll melt faster, and it goes darker. It darkens up. It will look sticky. It will look a little bit kind of wet. If you find that you don't get, say you go to do this and you haven't kind of the stickiness has gone away, you can just reheat this, and that stickiness will come back. Okay, there we go. Now, embossing powder, or gilded leafing, not embossing powder. What am I thinking? I keep mine in a big container. It comes in a jar. I take it out of the jar and put it into a plastic container. And the reason I do that is because it is fine and it gets all over the place. And when it's in a plastic container like this, I can take my piece of cardstock and just put it down in here, and you can see it is kind of blowing all over the place. So it is a little messy, but oh, it's so much fun. I also keep a sponge that I've cut into quarters in here, and I just take it and use it to rub off the excess. Now you don't want to rub really hard because you'll rub a lot of the gilded leafing off. And if you need to put more on, just kind of press it down. Get some of the pieces that want to run away back in. And again, just gently rub your sponge over and just remove the excess. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take my brush. Put your lid back on. You will find the gold all over the place, but hopefully by keeping it in that container, it's not too bad. Now I'm just taking the brush that I comes with the embossing kit and just kind of rubbing off the excess. So isn't that pretty? I just love the look of this. And if you've never tried this, you can use it for letters. You can use it for, stamped images. I've even just taken my Versamark and just kind of patted it in places, not solidly, or you could do it solidly too. And then use the heat and stick powder on it, and then use that on a card base, or a little bit. If you just take your Versamark and just put little dabs of it, you can also just kind of use it to embellish a flower, for example. If you take the edge of a flower, you can put this on. I don't know. I love to do mixed media things, and so therefore for me, this is kind of that mixed media feel. Okay, now these are the playful, what did I say they're called? No, Alphabet Alamo dies. I'm getting them mixed up. I'm using Welcome. They're small enough. I did kind of measure. They're about a 1/2 inch wide. It might be a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure I can get Welcome across this. So I have gone ahead and cut some of these out. So I'm using the foam adhesive sheets. So if you've never used these are a great way to pop up letters or other die cut pieces. So I've already gone ahead and cut out most of the letters. I need 2 E's. So I've got just the second E to cut. So I think this will fit through here. Yes, it will. Okay, so I've just got a second E. So with these foam adhesive sheets, they come in sheets like this, and you just take and peel off one side, put it onto the back of your cardstock or designer series paper, and then run it through. Now I run them through 2 or 3 times, and it's not that you need to do that for cutting, because they will cut on the first time. I like to have it cut right through. Sorry, I'm struggling here. I like to have it cut right through the backing on the adhesive foam sheets. So that's why I kind of run it through a few times. Let's try this again. You would think my wrist would be better by now, but no. All right, there we go. That should be good. Take those out. Okay, and I just put a piece of Post-it note tape across just to hold the letters in place. If I can get that off. It's gonna misbehave on me. Okay, let's try and. That's what's happened when I run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine so many times. There we go. These just hold the letters in place. And you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but because I've run it through a few times, even though the letter comes right off, the backing doesn't come off. And then I'm not worried about, you know, getting the stickiness on the backing all over and having my letter stick down. So you can use these on, like I said, cardstock or designer series paper. Okay, so I've got my welcome cut out. Now, let's see, I've got 7 letters. So W-E-L-C, so C is my middle letter. So we'll just pick this up. Hopefully leave the backing. Yep, I left the backing. Okay, so I'm going to put this, let's get the ruler. I just want to kind of get the center of this. So this is 5 1/4, so 2 1/2, 2 3/8 roughly. So I'm just going to put the C kind of in the middle, and then I can get my other letters going around it. And hopefully, hey Susan, I love these letters. So if you haven't got letters, this is a great set of dies for the letters. I believe that, well, I actually know there is a stamp set coming out in starting March 1st. Oops. Okay, I don't want the second E. Okay. Ah! Okay, I'm spelling welcome wrong. Huh. All right, let's, okay, we need the L. That's what we need. Well, getting distracted here with alphabet dies and stamps. So yeah, there is a stamp set coming out March 1st with alphabet on it. Try and get this straight-ish. Okay, so there we go. Now we can put an E down. Okay, don't want that E. Let's put that there. Hey, Jan, welcome. Oh, how did I hurt my wrist? I broke my wrist in December. I had a hold of a dog for a friend, and the dog went to greet the FedEx driver with my friend's paper pumpkin kit and took me with him. And I was down on the ground before I realized it. So still, I mean, it's apparently pretty much healed. My letters are going a little bit wonky here, but still is kind of painful because it's been in a splint for so long that it's hard to bend and I'm having some pain. So it's in a brace for another couple of weeks till I see the doctor. I guess a week, next Friday. All right, and then the last E. I don't have these very straight. Okay, it's not as straight as I would have liked, and not as even, but you know, you get the idea that the welcome, and it's popped up, so you can see that it's popped up. You could use a different color if you wanted to. I just kind of like the look of the same color. This is Orchid Oasis. So let's get this on. Trying to decide between alpha stamp on dies. Yeah, I personally prefer the dies. I've never been somebody that stamped the alphabet and needed it. If you're into scrapbooking, definitely will either work. But I really love these dies, I have to say. Okay, so we're just going to put that on there. Now, these are the gold faceted adhesive back sequence. These come in they're part of the Delicate Desert suite. So they are 4 different shapes, kind of this crescent moon, and then 2 sizes of sequence, and then these teardrop shapes. So I thought I'd use these like I did on my other card. I'm not going to put ribbon on it like I did on my other card, but just some gold, some extra gold, like that. And then I didn't actually get a stamp or a designer series paper, so I'm just going to adhere the white on the inside, and I will write a note. Now, this card, I don't know if she's watching, but I have a new team member, and so this is going to be my new team member's welcome card. I always like to send my new team members a little something in the mail just to welcome them to my team. So there we go. There is a card. Now you can see welcome's got 7 letters. So, you know, these dies are small enough that they will nicely fit across. And if you have a really big word, you can make a slimline card and have it long enough. Or if you have a couple of words you want to fit together. I made a birthday card. I didn't put happy birthday. I just did the H, the B, and then the letter 2 and U. So happy birthday to you, but shortened. And that works too. All right, everybody. Now try the gilded leafing. Don't be afraid of it. Will it make a mess? Sure, it'll make a mess. Try and keep it contained. Put it in a big plastic container. Take it out of the big jar that it comes in, because you'll never be able to use it if you put it in the big jar. So if you put it into a big kind of plastic container, I think this is just a Ziploc plastic container that I bought, and keep it in there, you can pretty much keep it contained. So you can use it for all sorts of things. It's really a fun product. And it looks like there's a fair amount left in there, but I think I might have to buy another jar. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, please give me a thumbs up. If you're coming in through Facebook and feel like sharing my video to some of your friends, I'd love for you to do that. Hopefully you'll be able to do that off my Facebook group. So feel free to share and let them, hopefully tell them about it and have them come and join me when I go live. Now, I will be live on Saturday and Sunday, but it's going to be early. I'm doing some quilting for a few days with a group of ladies. So I'll probably be live about 9 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, which is much earlier than normal. But that lets me get out and do some more quilting. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. Hope you have a great evening. Happy stamping. Bye.